Blog Talk Radio.
Following ingredients include a look behind the scenes. Cook uncovered until hot. Add grooves to taste.
I would like, if I may, to take you on a strange journey.
Once upon a time, there was a little girl.
The accident was over a year ago. A second woman has been elected president. A 12th planet has been named in the solar system. The last wild polar bear has died. I slept through it all. I was here for my waking. He called it a beginning. He said it was good. I think you may have thought that anything I did was good.
Welcome to Transition Radio, live from Hollywood, Florida, with your host and hostess, Mark Angelo and Jessica Lynn Cummings. Show for trans folks, by trans folks, here to let your voice be heard. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Transition Radio. We're so glad you're able to join us this evening and listen to another great interview. We've been getting some fantastic guests, not only on the radio show, but also on our TV show at Not Straight TV. We want to thank our sponsor, the Breast Form Store. They've been established since 1993. They are the Internet's most trusted and discreet shopping center for all of your transgender and cross-dressing needs. You could also have your items shipped directly to you in discreet packaging. Now, here is what you have to do to win your very own pair of breast forms.
Ladies, Transition Radio and BreastFormStore.com want to help you achieve the look you have always wanted, but were not able to afford. Send us your video telling us why you should be the winner of these beauties and how you would be able to promote their product and our show while showing off your girl. Email your videos to transitionradioshow@gmail.com. Again, that's transitionradioshow@gmail.com. The video should be 4 minutes or less. Be creative and please keep it PG. We will pick 3 finalists and have the videos up for a vote. The winner will win their very own pair of breast forms. Well, today on our show we have Jody Rose. He's a female-to-male transsexual who has an MA in English, an MFA in creative writing. He also published a book of poems, and his writing appears on over 50 magazines, anthologies, and journals. He has also spoke at numerous universities across the country about his transition, gender politics, and the importance of education in relation to gender studies. He transitioned when he was 21, and his memoir will be published in October of 2013.
And now welcome to our show, Mr. Jody Rose. Jody, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing, Jody?
So glad you're able to join us.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure's ours.
For sure. So, we're going to start. You transitioned at a young age. How did your friends and family take the change?
My friends and family were always very supportive of me, and in fact, all my grandparents when I was younger would always take me shopping for boys' clothing, and I think my grandparents knew that I was a boy, even when I was like 5 and 6, and so I've been really fortunate with a ton of support.
That's fantastic. And that's really odd to hear because a lot of us didn't really get that support, and it's great that here when somebody has that kind of story that someone was supportive and backing them up from the time they were younger.
Can you go into it a little bit deeper for us? I mean, how, for instance, when did you know that you were going to transition, and how did you go about it?
Well, when I was 13, I told my parents I was a lesbian. And I knew, even when I was telling them that something was not quite right about it, but I knew that I was attracted to women. And throughout the years, when I was 16, I started, going out with women and girls my own age. And then when I was 18, I dated a woman who I told, and she was very supportive, and she called me he. And I always cross-dressed. That's another thing. But and then when I was 19, I knew that I needed to do it. And so I started taking the necessary steps, saving some money. And then when I was in need of my top surgery, I actually did not have enough money, but I got an inheritance for almost the exact amount of money that I needed, which was really interesting. And so I did it. I did everything I needed to do within 5 months in terms of surgeries. But I really knew from an early age that I needed to transition. So it was just this feeling of being, something was not quite right. Something was off. I just didn't feel grounded or centered. I just felt like I was not even living in a body that, supported my mind. So throughout all of that, I always knew I needed to do it. But I just had to live in the body until I was able to do it.
Right, exactly. And what age did you transition again?
21.
21. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so that's when you started everything. So you had the guts to go out and do it when you were very young. That's good. I don't know, maybe I'm teaching myself right now.
I think whatever age you do it is important. Just whenever making the decision to go ahead and do something that will support who you are inside, essentially, is a brave and courageous decision regardless of age. And I do believe a lot of times, too, that people transition when their spirit chose for them to transition, because I believe that when you come here, your spirit shows your whole path for you beforehand. And so people who have transitioned in their teens or people who transition in their 50s, their spirit chose certain lessons to be learned before the transition happens, or I needed to learn lessons after the transition. To me, it's about that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right, and I know exactly where you're coming from now. And I noticed that you're into crystals and spirituality. What got you interested in this, and what are your beliefs exactly?
Well, from an early age, I've always been hypersensitive and clairsentient, so I can sense people's energies and sense. So I go into a restaurant. I usually can't sit down where somebody was just sitting and eating, because if I sit in that seat, I will feel what the person was feeling. So I've had this from a very early age. I think I was born with it. And so in finding out how to deal with it, I came across some teachers in my life who introduced me to crystals and oils and books and a lot of different ways to be in this physical world. So I was introduced to it by that in that way, and I really do believe that I was guided there by my ancestors, because I don't believe in coincidence. So whenever I was at a certain place at a certain time, or I would meet a person that would steer me more on my path, and that's how I first got introduced to it. I started getting introduced to it in my mid-20s, and then I've been studying for almost 12 years or more, all of it. And I still have a huge amount to learn about it. So My beliefs are basically that everything will be your thoughts and everybody is connected, and if you live your life as much in love as you possibly can without being influenced by all of the fear, you will progress and raise your frequency more. But the trick is that you need to the trick is staying as much in the love as possible without being taken out of it and into the fear. And the challenge is, at least for me, has been not absorbing all of the fear. And I do absorb it and I go into it. And then when I go into it, I try to come back out of it. And this is the ego, the ego going into the fear likes the being miserable aspect of it. So this is something that I believe is like something that I will constantly be learning. And if I can just be aware of it, then I will feel more in tune with love than with fear. But, once you get out of awareness, then you slip back into the fear. So I don't really have other beliefs other than that. So
those are pretty good. I saw a picture of you. The reason I asked that is because I saw a picture of you with a giant, gorgeous crystal. Where did you ever find that?
Was it the selenite? Were they big white pieces or was it a sort of smoky-looking crystal?
It was kind of smoky, but it was kind of smoky, but it was huge. I mean, it was like, I don't even know how you were holding it.
Yeah, that's my smoky quartz that I sleep with every night. Well, so that one came to me because I was guided to go to this store in Hawaii called Sedona, and it's a crystal store, and I met a woman there who told me to get in touch with a woman named Patty because I was talking about certain things that this woman talks about, so I called her, and I did this fair called the Blue Moon Psychic Fair, and she told me about Deidre, who I got the crystal from. So I never got the crystal from the store, which is very funny. I got the crystal from a woman she has beautiful crystals, and I was able to acquire this particular one. It chose me, just like a lot of the crystals choose their owners or their person to work with is a better word for that. So, yeah, that one helps me with my dream work. It helps me. It absorbs my energy. It's magical. I just slept with it last night. It always stays in my arms. I always wake up with it, holding it. It never falls out of my bed. It's incredible.
Wow. And getting back to what you were saying about sitting in restaurants, I believe that many transgender individuals were empaths, and I believe we've been given this so-called hard life because a healer needs to be healed before they can do healing. And I believe that if transgender individuals will tap in to their ability instead of thinking of this as a curse, they would realize that we are almost like shamans. They're healers. I mean, back in the old age, they used to look at us as something greater than what we're looked upon now. And I believe the empowerment, and that's why we love to have individuals like yourself on the show that are awakened to the fact of who they are and why we're here.
Yes, that's it. Well, I think I was just talking about this morning with someone that our spirits chose this path to learn lessons. And so living as quote-unquote female, living as quote-unquote male, and being gender fluid, incorporating androgyny, incorporating both aspects of both male and female, this has to get you in touch more, regardless. Like, it gets you in touch more because in our society, especially in our Western society is what I'm talking about, because this is the society I'm in right now, there's so much attention put on male, female, normal this, be normal here, be normal there if you're male, act this way if you're female, act this way if you're male, wear this, wear that, don't wear this, don't wear that. And so when we transition, the energy of society that's put into all of this gender play and gender norm, we can't help but be sensitive to that, because at some point a lot of us, we did do that. We did subscribe to these beliefs. We did try to do our gender. And then when we denounced it, there was still all this energy in the world, in wherever we are, about gender. And so then we have to look at that energy and transform that energy to a more healing energy, because that energy, it's all tense. There's so much tension with that energy. And so I think part of what I'm here to do, part of what I'm here to do as far as being a teacher, is to teach myself, first of all, and anybody else who wants to learn how to transform the energy of male and female so that we can fuse together and be one, regardless of how we express ourselves. Who gives a crap if we have a big beard but we want to wear pink panties? I mean, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? And so being okay with that is what one of the things we're here to teach, I believe.
Exactly, and I concur. You are in tremendous shape. What does your workout routine and eating regimen look like? First time I saw your picture, I'm like, wow, excellent shape.
Thank you. What's interesting is that before, I used to lift weights. I started lifting weights when I was 15. I used to actually be very overweight, and because I ate when I was younger to escape the fact that I was trapped in my body. So when I was 15, I started lifting weights, and then when I was 17 or maybe 18, I can't remember how old I was, but I found Body Alchemy, the book by Lauren Cameron, and I would put it by my bed and look at his picture every night, and I would envision myself looking like that. So I believe that part of that relates to my visualization. On the other side of it, the other part relates to the workout routine, which is right now 4 to 5 times a week. I hit every body part at least once a week. And, the workout routine is way too complicated to explain. It would take an hour, to explain it. But the summary, I think, is that I think about what I put in my body. I visualize. When I lift weights, I think about my muscles. And I also don't overtrain my muscles. So let's say for biceps, I'll do 3 exercises at the most. And I'll do a set of maybe 4 sets of 8 with an 80-pound bar, and then I'll move to doing curls, 3 sets of 8 to 10, and then I'll do isolation, 2 sets of 15. That's just a quick, example of a bicep workout. But I have 20 different bicep workouts. That's why it would take, and I do what my instincts tell me to do in the gym. Like today, I wanted to go to the gym, but I had this feeling that just take it off, so I took it off. And so, I think part of being in shape is really being in tune with your body and your intuition. It's not just about going to the gym and lifting tons of weight. It's the whole balance of everything. Like balancing out what you eat, balancing out how you lift, what you lift, when you lift, these kinds of things.
Yeah, exactly. Well, who has been your inspiration in life? And did you have any role models in the trans community?
Okay. I don't have role models. I just don't. I never have ever since I just don't. I can say that there are certain people that I found early, like Lauren Cameron, for instance, he inspired me in many ways, and I loved looking at his photographs. I would say the people along my path that have helped me tremendously would be my grandmother, my parents, my first girlfriend, Arlene, my ex-wife, Jenny. People along the way, they just support me. They just supported me. And looking to them for the way that they've loved, the way that they continue to love, I learn from them still. I'm still best friends with both of those women, and my grandmother passed, but she visits me in my dreams. So, I'd have to say people who know how to love, people who love unconditionally, people who forgive, people who accept right away, Like these are the kinds of people that I learned from.
I know you wanted to talk about Thomas and the situation coming up on Friday. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about this, because we've got 10 minutes left in the show, and I wanted to make sure that you've got that information.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to bring that up at the end, but I would like to definitely talk about it now. My good friend Thomas Beatie, we actually dated when we were both 18, and we were both too masculine for each other. We both tried to throw each other in the pool, and it didn't work, so we broke up. It's just very funny thinking about that. So we remained friends forever. And he's been in the media quite a bit over the last 5 years, but the latest news has been about his divorce case. And this Friday, on December 7th, he's going to court. Thomas Beatie is going to court because a conservative Arizona judge turned his normal divorce case into a trial against the 10-year validity of his marriage to his wife, Nancy, and as well as a case against his legal male gender identity. And, we need to all care about this because it has to do with marriage and gender equality for trans people. And the outcome of this trial is going to affect every single one of us. Now, the Transgender Law Center is backing Thomas. And though we all can't provide testimony for his trial, we can definitely show support within our community. And for Thomas, regardless of what you believe about it, stop judging this stuff and just come together. Because he's a fellow trans man fighting for authenticity. He's courageous. He's fighting for family, for justice, for marriage. And, the thing is, I get heated about this because people are like, oh, the pregnant man, screw that. People should be able to do what they want to do, especially, if they want to have kids. So if you have judgments about this sort of stuff, just put that aside because he is fighting for our rights. And, if you want to know more about what's going on, his website is, let me just think, it's definenormal.com, definenormal.com. And we need to come together. I am just so tired of all of these, separations in our community. I'm so tired of it. It's absolutely ridiculous, So I really wanted to talk about that because Hawaii says he's a legal male, and this Arizona judge is questioning the state of Hawaii too. So it's definitely something that we need to keep notice of. And tell people.
Like I heard something like that happen here in Florida way back, and the same thing. It's like they give us all these legality, but it's almost like they take it away from us. They're almost to appease us, and then when it really comes to the wire, we're really not considered legally married. And that to me is like, well, why give it to us in the first place? You're playing games with us. And people really do need to get fired up. And again, unite and not, so what if you don't feel like a man should be having a baby? That's a trans man. That's our brother. We should stand up and, stand up for one another and rise up. And I think until we do that as a trans community, we're not going to get anywhere.
I completely agree. We are not separate. We are connected. We are not separate. We are connected. Not just within our community, but with everything. You're connected to the earth. You're connected to the tree. You're connected to every single thing. You're all connected to it. So stop feeling separated. That's really one of the things I work toward every single day. And I still need a lot of work in that area, but at least because we are conditioned to feel separate. Our ego wants to feel separate so it can feel important.
Our ego's like that elephant in the room that always wants attention, and we need to learn how to quiet it down because ego destroys everything, and ego does not allow full love or unconditional love to really shine through. And that's definitely something I concur with.
Definitely, and one really good way to get away from that is to simply breathe through your heart, to think about your heart. Breathe in through your heart and out through your heart. Add a positive moment or a memory. Think of an animal. Think of someone you love, something you love. Go into your heart, because your heart, when you do that, the ego, it will try to interfere. But your heart, as long as you stay in your heart, you will have the inner wisdom that you were born with, that you forgot, that we need to remember. So that has helped me tremendously. That's why I wanted to share it, because people are like, well, how do you do that? How do you do that? And I said, well, go into your heart.
It's the battle between the mind and the heart, and if we stay in our heart, that's how we win the battle.
Exactly. Yeah. And you'll
do you
know.
Have any advice? Right.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, finish. Do you have any advice for trans youth and their parents?
For transgender parents?
And their
like,
youth.
You mean for people who are raising children?
Yes, that are trans.
Well, I raised a child for 7 years with my ex-wife, and we raised him to be completely open from such an early age. Obviously there can be issues that come up as a parent in relation, because he's a boy, and I would change him, and there's different things that come up, okay? So as far as for the child, love, acceptance, all of that is extremely important from a very early age. And then to not separate yourself just because wherever you're defining yourself as, whether it be trans, someone who changed, whatever you define yourself as, once again, don't separate yourself like I'm this parent, or I'm a parent who changed, or I'm a parent who's a transgender, because then it creates a separation right away. So it's like you're just a parent like anyone else. There's genetic men out there who have one ball, or there's some men, and they're raising a kid. They're not saying, well, I'm a guy with one testicle raising a kid. It's like you're just a parent. So you know what? As a parent, raise your child with love. And then, of course, there's going to be around you people who might not agree with if they know about you, and then they don't agree. Like that's what happened to Thomas. With that, I have very different advice, which is to cut the cords from those people and to do spiritual, like magic work, light work, right? But the other advice I don't even really like to give advice, but I'd say, like, the other thing I would say in terms of other people is not to give those people energy. Like, because when you give anything energy, you are contributing to it. So in a positive or a negative way, right? So don't give them energy. Focus on your child and, educate, be as loving and supportive to the child as you can. Approach it with love, and don't separate yourself just because you might feel, oh, I might be inferior because I'm a trans parent. But that's not true. It's not true at all, and that's just another form of separation and fear. So as a parent, just be loving. And when issues come up, talk about them with your partner, if you have a partner, because that's important too. It's a learning process as you keep going,
Exactly. It's a learning process every day. And to go off subject a little bit, what's it like living in the beautiful island of Hawaii?
Magical, spiritual, healing, incredible. The ocean heals you. There's a lot of people who band together here, will help you. There's a lot of love on this island. There's a tremendous amount of love on this island. There's a tremendous amount of magic on this island that I have never experienced anywhere else, actually. And like right now I'm at the beach looking at the water while I'm talking to you, and it is so beautiful here. And that fills up your soul. It fills up your spirit. So I would say if you can come visit, definitely come visit because it's
sounds like I want to move there.
Yeah. Well, you can.
50 seconds.
Yeah.
We've got 50 seconds left, and I want to give you any projects or any information you want the listeners to know about before we end the show.
I am giving more money away on January 1st for surgery giveaway. You can find more information at thefmsexguide.com. You don't have to buy anything, but you got to go there because I need you to become a member of the site so that I can email you that way. That's how I do it. Guidelines are at the bottom of the page. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, look me up if you want or don't. I'm happy to be interviewing now.
What I'll do is go ahead and I'm going to get all that information from you, so when I put this podcast into YouTube form, I could put all the information in the description so people could click on the stuff and get all the information out there.
Okay,
Thanks
I
so
appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Anytime. That's why we have this show, to let our voices be heard, and hopefully one day we will all unite as a trans community and stop the fighting and stop allowing the ego to take over and live in a world, because it's not just about trans, live in a world of love and peace and union and all the things that come from the heart.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Jody. It was great talking to you, and I'm sure we'll talk more.
We definitely will. If you want to come to Hawaii, just email me, and I'll try to help you out with that.
You got that. We're probably going to be looking forward to doing that at some point. We are getting married next year, so, you know.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
No
That's
better
wonderful.
place than Hawaii.
That's true. Right where I am, actually. It's free and beautiful. Oh. All right. Well, you take care, my friends.
You do, sweetie. Thank you.
Okay, on this non-live version, take care. There's another announcement that we're going to make, and this is no longer in the live version. This is part of the recording version of the show, but we wanted to talk about it, and this is something that's also very, very important. So
I guess I'll start it off. We wanted to share this very important letter from Cleo K., a transgender woman living in Uganda, penned an open letter asking her members of Parliament to reject the country's anti-homosexuality bill, which would criminalize LGBT Ugandans and subject some to the death penalty.
Here's a short excerpt from her letter. I asked myself how one can judge me before one even knows me. I understand this, though, because for so long I was hated by people before they even knew me. Being transgender, like being gay or lesbian, is not a choice. What is, rather, a choice is accepting it for a fact.
What is a choice is if you, at some point in life, decide to not live a masked life under the guise of a straight or asexual person like I did, and restrain yourself from everything that you know you are from, the core of your being. While Western activists rally against the draconian legislation, Americans have heard precious little from LGBT people living in Uganda.
Well, hey, everybody, it's about love. It's about understanding. You may not like what you see. You may not even understand it, but acceptance, love, tolerance, respect. Love one another, because that is all we are here to do on this earth. And until we get that, we are not going to get anywhere. We're never going to find the peace. We're never going to find the union that we need in this world. And in saying that, I'm going to end this song. First of all, I'm going to tell you guys how much we love you. But remember to love yourselves, too. And I'm ending the show tonight with a song called Open Your Eyes, because we all need to open your eyes. Thank you, Jody, for the great interview and for the great message that we all need to connect, because without connecting, we won't get anywhere. Love you guys.
Look around you, it's a clear witness of things throughout the years. War and famine, to name a few, on the name of freedom, boy, they lie to you. Building weapons to take control, placing our troops throughout the world, it's wrong. Open your eyes to the truth, my friend. We've been living a life for many years on end. There'll be no tomorrow unless we bring them to these lies. All the confusion that's been going on, it's been part of the plan to destroy us all. We don't have much time, we're nearing the end of it all. I know it's hard to understand, but our history has been a total sham. We have much bloodshed on our hands. This land is cursed. How can we pretend? The spreading of virus and the forced vaccine is not something new. They've done this before. Population control is their goal. Don't be so naive. Don't open your doors. Open your hearts to the truth, my friends. We've been living a lie many years on end. There will be no tomorrow unless we bring an end to these lies. All the confusion that's been going on has been part of the plan to destroy us all. We don't have much time, we're nearing the end of it all. Senseless killing with no purpose, our ruthless leaders, they kill in vain. Why do we let them run our minds? We are not killers, there's no need to fight. The few that believe in death and destruction should not rule our thoughts or control our actions. It's wrong. Open your eyes to the truth, my friend. We've been living a lie for many years on end. There will be no tomorrow unless we bring an end to these lies. All the confusion that's been going on has been part of the plan to destroy us all. We don't have much time, we're getting near the end of it all. We don't have much time, we're nearing the end of it all. How many must die? How many more? Or for those men with ideas wanting to control everything around us? We're not that way to program our minds. We need to escape and stop being their puppets. Come on, people, let's wake up and know the truth. It's right before your eyes. No more lies. No more lies. Open your eyes. Open your